Dear students, today we are going to discuss about atmospheric pressure and gauge pressure. See, now the definition of atmospheric pressure is nothing but the pressure of the atmosphere. Pressure of the atmosphere at sea level is called atmospheric pressure. It's called atmospheric pressure, and which is equal to 1 atmosphere equal to 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals. So this is atmospheric pressure, right? See here, to measure the atmospheric pressure we use mercury barometer. Now I am going to discuss about mercury barometer. This device is being used to measure atmospheric pressure. Okay, this device consists of one vessel. Device consists of one vessel like this. Consider this vessel is being filled with mercury. This vessel is being filled with mercury, and we have a tube. One end of the tube is closed, and that tube is also filled with mercury, and that tube is immersed in this mercury container. Okay, this tube, one end of the tube is one end of the tube is closed and being filled with mercury inside, and that mercury, when this tube is immersed reversely in container which is having mercury, the liquid level rises, the mercury rises into the tube. Okay, consider this mercury level is equal to H from the this layer. Okay, and this portion is consist of vapor, mercury vapor. This portion consists of mercury vapor, and pressure in this open area, let us consider this is P1, which is approximately equal to 0. It is vacuum, so pressure is equal to 0. See here, I am considering 2 points. One point is A, another point is B. We know that in last class we discussed that pressure at all the points is same if the points are at same level. If all points are at same level. Why? Because pressure is equal to P atmosphere plus rho GH. Atmospheric pressure is constant, density is constant, acceleration due to gravity is also constant. So absolute pressure depends on depth of the fluid, H. It depends on H. So if this point and this point are at same height, same depth from this point A and point B are at same depth from this point. So the depth from this point to this point is nothing but H. So now, pressure at point A is equal to pressure at point B. So we know that pressure at point A is equal to pressure at point B. pressure at point A is PA, pressure at point B is nothing but PB. These are same. Okay, now I am going to find out pressure at point A. Pressure at point A is nothing but P1, pressure at top level P1 plus the depth from top level to this one is nothing but how much? H. So P1 plus rho G H. We know that P1 is equal to 0 because this level consists of vacuum or mercury vapor. So pressure P1 equal to 0 in this case. So 0 plus rho G H. Therefore, pressure at point A is equal to simply rho G H. Pressure at point A is equal to rho GH, which is equal to pressure at point B. What is the pressure at point B? This point B is in contact with atmospheric pressure. Point B is in contact with atmospheric pressure. So, pressure at point A is equal to pressure at point B is equal to rho GH, which is equal to atmospheric pressure. Okay, we know atmospheric pressure is nothing but 1 atmosphere. We know 1 atmosphere equal to 1.015 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals. So simply atmospheric pressure can be measured using the height raised in the mercury column. Okay, height raised in the mercury column. In the case of mercury, if the fluid is mercury, the height raised is equal to 76 centimeters. So 1 atmosphere is equivalent to 76 centimeters of Hg in barometer, or in millimeters 760 millimeters of Hg. So atmospheric pressure can be measured using barometer. That atmospheric pressure is nothing but 1 atmosphere. This atmosphere, we can get the H value using this equation. 1 atmosphere is equal to rho GH. We know density of mercury. If we know the density of mercury, G value, you can find out H also from here. You will get the H value as 76 centimeters of Hg or 760 millimeters of mercury. Okay, we know in other terms, we call 1 mm of Hg. 1 mm of Hg is called 1 torr. 1 torr. Therefore, 1 mm of Hg is nothing but what? 760 mm of Hg is nothing but 1 atmosphere. So I am writing 760 mm of Hg is nothing but 1 atmosphere. 1 atmosphere is nothing but we know 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals. Therefore, 1 mm of Hg is nothing but, when this 760 goes to right side, it will be in denominator now. Pascals divided by 760. So 1 mm of Hg is defined as 1 torr. So 1 torr is equal to 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 760. By calculating this, you will get 133 pascals. Therefore, 1 torr is equal to 133 pascals. And other alternative units are 1 bar. 1 bar is nothing but 10 to the power of 5 pascals. So, 1 atmosphere or atmospheric pressure, 1 atmosphere is nothing but 1 atmosphere is equal to, in terms of SI system of units, we will get 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals, 10 to the power of 5 pascals, which is equal to 76 centimeters of Hg, 76 centimeters of Hg, or 760 millimeters of Hg, which is also equal to 76. 1 millimeter of Hg is nothing but 1 torr. So 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 torrs. Okay, and now 1 atmosphere is equal to 1 bar is equal to 10 to the power of 5 pascals. Therefore, 1 atmosphere is also can be written as 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals is nothing but 1 bar. So these are the values for atmospheric pressure. 1 atmosphere equal to 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals or 76 centimeters of Hg or 760 millimeters of Hg. 760 times 1 mm of Hg is called as 1 torr. So 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 torrs or 1 atmosphere equal to 1.013 bars. So these are the values for atmospheric pressure, different values. Now I am going to discuss about manometer. Manometer. Here open tube manometer is nothing but I am taking a U-shaped tube, like this. Okay, so here this U-shaped tube is being filled with a liquid and one end of the tube is open to atmosphere. So atmospheric pressure, the pressure at this point is nothing but simply atmospheric pressure. Okay, see, another end of the tube is being attached to a balloon in which some gas is there whose pressure we are going to find out. The pressure of that gas inside this balloon we are going to find out. So pressure inside the tube is nothing but P. Consider this U tube is being filled with, before attachment of balloon, let us consider this is being filled with a liquid. This U tube is being filled with liquid like this. We know that the liquid level will be same on both sides of the tube. Why liquid levels are same? Because we know the pressure at this point must be equal to pressure at this point. So in order to equal the pressure, the raise, liquid level raise will be also more from Pascal's law of pressure. P equal to Pa plus rho g H. We know this definition. We have discussed already in the last class. So the liquid level raised will be same in both sides of the tube. Now I am going to attach a balloon to one side of the tube. One side is being open and another side of the tube is being attached with a balloon in which the pressure inside the balloon is P. We are going to find out this pressure value here. Okay, when this balloon is attached, because of the air pressure inside the balloon, this air pressure pushes the liquid downside here, so that liquid level will be raised in this side. So the liquid level will be raised up to, consider up to this location. Okay, now the height difference is nothing but H. Consider this height difference is nothing but H. So now pressure at this point is nothing but simply P, and this P we need to find out. So pressure at this point and pressure at this point must be equal because these 2 points are at same level. So consider the pressure at this point is nothing but Pa. So pressure at this point Pa is equal to simply pressure at top level. Pressure at top level is nothing but atmospheric pressure plus rho g H. We know from Pascal's law. We have discussed already about variation of pressure with depth. In that case, we obtained an expression that is P2 minus P1 is equal to rho g H. So from that, the pressure at this point at a depth of H below the top layer is equal to pressure at first point is nothing but atmospheric pressure plus rho g H. So this pressure at point A must be is equal to pressure at point B. Pressure at point B is nothing but simply is equal to P. Therefore, pressure inside the balloon is equal to atmospheric pressure plus rho g h. So when this atmospheric pressure comes to this side, left side, P minus P atmosphere is equal to rho g h. This difference in pressure is called as difference in pressure is called gauge pressure. So gauge pressure is equal to simply rho g h. So by using open tube manometer we can find out the pressure difference. We call the pressure difference as gauge pressure. Gauge pressure is equal to simply rho g h. Now we are going to discuss about the hydraulic machines. Hydraulic machines. There are many applications of hydraulic machines. Hydraulic brakes are there. Another application is hydraulic lift and etc. Now we are going to see the principle involved in hydraulic machines here. Okay, let us consider what will happen when pressure applied on a fluid in a container. So see here, I am taking a container like this. This container is closed at one end, and another end, this container is having a piston at another end, and see there are there are vertical tubes attached to this tube. Now consider these vertical tubes are 1, 2, and this is nothing but 3. And consider here this horizontal tube is being filled with some fluid like this. When some pressure is applied at any point here with the help of a piston, when this piston is being pushed like this, that is, we are applying external pressure on the fluid, so that because of the external pressure this fluid will be raised in the 3 vertical columns. They will be raised up to same level in the 3 vertical columns. Why they are being raised to same level? Because whatever the pressure that we are applying, that is being transmitted to fluid like this. That means pressure at this point A, pressure at this point, pressure at this point are equal. Pressure at point A, pressure at point B, pressure at point C are equal. If pressures are equal, the liquid raises must be also equal from Pascal's law. We know P is equal to atmospheric pressure plus rho g h. If pressure is same, h also will be same. So the liquid levels raised in the 3 vertical columns will be equal. So from this we can conclude that whenever an external force is applied, or whenever an external pressure is applied, and external pressure is applied, externally on any part of a fluid, contained in a vessel, fluid contained in a vessel, that pressure it is transmitted, undiminished and without loss, transmitted undiminished and equally in all directions. directions. The pressure is, when an external pressure is applied on any part of a fluid contained in a vessel, it is transmitted equally in all directions. This is called as, this is Pascal's law of, this is Pascal's law for transmission of fluid pressure. Transmission of fluid pressure. What is the Pascal's law of transmission of fluid pressure? When an external pressure is applied on any part of a fluid, when external pressure is applied on any part of a fluid contained in a vessel, it is transmitted equally in all directions, so that the liquid rays will be same in all three vertical columns. So here the application of this principle is nothing but I am going to explain hydraulic lift here. So here hydraulic lift is nothing but I am taking a container. I am taking a container like this. This container consists of two cross-sectional areas. Two cross-sectional areas like this. Okay, consider the cross-sectional area at this point. It is consisting of some piston, and this also consisting of some piston like this. So here the cross-sectional area at this point is nothing but A1, and here the cross-sectional area is nothing but A2. When we apply some force on it, on a smaller cross-sectional area, when F1 force applied on smaller cross-sectional area A1, the pressure applied is equal to F1 by A1. Okay, so this pressure P1 is transmitted equally in all directions because of this pressure P. This pressure when it is acting on surface area of A2, this force will be generated at this point. Because of this force generated, this another side, this piston will be moved upside. So now the generation of force, the generated force F2 is equal to whatever the pressure generated here or pressure applied here, that will be transmitted equally in all directions as per the Pascal's law for transmission of fluid pressure. So F2 is equal to force equal to pressure into area, P into A2. We know that pressure P is equal to F1 by A1. So pressure applied is equal to, so F2 is equal to pressure applied is nothing but F1 by A1 into A2 is there. We know force equal to pressure into area. So force generated at the second cross-sectional area, larger cross-sectional area, F2 is equal to pressure into area. Pressure at this point is P and area at this point is nothing but A2. We know that whatever the pressure applied externally at this cross-sectional area, the same pressure will be transmitted equally in all directions. So the pressure P is nothing but P1 by A1. I am just substituting here. So F2 is equal to F1 into A2 divided by A1. We know A2 is greater than A1. Therefore, F2, the force generated at larger cross-sectional area, is always very much greater than F1, force applied at smaller cross-sectional area. That's why with less effort we can lift the things like trucks and cars easily on hydraulic lifts, because if cross-sectional area is more, because of more cross-sectional area, the more force will be generated at larger cross-sectional areas. So We call this ratio A2 by A1 as mechanical advantage. We call this as mechanical advantage. It also can be concluded in different manner. See, F2, when this A2 comes to left side, it will become F2 divided by A2, that is equal to, remaining thing is F1 by A1, F1 by A1. We know that F2 by A2 is nothing but pressure at second point, P2 is equal to pressure at first point is nothing but P1. That means as these two pistons are at equal level, so pressure must be also equal. From this also we can get this relation, F2 is equal to F1 into A2 by A1. Pressures are same. In that way also, as pressures are same, pressures are nothing but F2 by A2 is equal to F1 by A1. So F2 is equal to A2 by A1 into F1. We call A2 by A1 as mechanical advantage. Now we are going to discuss about some examples here. Example number 5. Example number 5 is talking about two syringes. Here, two syringes of different cross-sectional areas A1 and A2, and lengths are equal to L1 and L2, filled with water or connected with a tightly fitted rubber tube filled with water. Diameters of the smaller piston and larger piston are 1 millimeter, 1 centimeter and 3 centimeters respectively. So here two syringes with different cross sections. I am drawing syringe here. Two syringes. These two syringes are being connected with a pipe like this. Okay, cross section area of this one is A1, let cross section area of this one is A2, and length of this cylinder is nothing but L1, and length of this cylinder is syringe is L2. Okay. Now the diameter of smaller piston and larger pistons are 1 centimeter and 3 centimeters. The diameter of this one is equal to 3 centimeters and diameter of this one is equal to 1 centimeter. D1 equal to 3. Find the force exerted on the larger piston when a force of 10 newtons is applied on the smaller piston. Okay, so force applied on the smaller piston is F1 and force applied on the larger piston is nothing but F2. Okay, force applied F1 is equal to 10 newtons. So what is the force applied on the larger piston? F2 is how much? Find the force exerted on the larger piston. Okay, so see here, this is nothing but, consider this is D2 equal to 3 centimeters and D1 equal to 1 centimeter. And area of cross section is equal to A2, and here area of cross section is nothing but A1. And length of this syringe is nothing but L2 and length of this syringe is L1. Okay, so now we are going to find out force exerted on the larger piston, that is nothing but F2. We know F2 is equal to F1 into A2 by A1. Okay, so F2 is equal to F1 into A2 is nothing but pi d square by 4 area of cross section, pi r square. Actually we know area is equal to pi r square, but here pi r is nothing but d by 2 whole square. Diameter, radius equal to half of the diameter, so pi d square divided by 4. So pi d square by 4, pi d2 square by 4 divided by pi d1 square by 4. This is A1. A1 is nothing but pi d1 square by 4. So here pi by 4 and pi by 4 cancels. The remaining thing is nothing but F2 is equal to F1 into d2 square divided by d2 square divided by d1 square. Here F1 is nothing but 10 newtons and diameter d2 is given by 3 centimeters and diameter d1 is equal to smaller diameter is 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. By substituting all these values, you will get to know the answer. So force generated F2 equal to F1 is nothing but 10 into d2 square. d2 is nothing but 3 centimeter divided by d1 equal to 1 centimeter whole square. F2 is equal to 10 into centimeter cancel. 3 square is nothing but 9. 9 into 10 is nothing but 90 newtons. So force generated at the larger cross-sectional area is equal to 90 newtons. And we are going to find out the second part here. The second part is if the smaller piston is pushed in through 6 centimeters, how much does the larger piston move out? If the smaller piston is moved up to a distance of 6 centimeters, so here L1 is equal to 6 centimeters. What is L2? We know that whatever the amount of fluid is pushed down here, the same amount of fluid will be raised in the larger syringe. So here the amount of fluid pushed down here is equal to the amount of fluid raised in the larger syringe. Therefore, whatever the volume of the fluid pushed at this side, the same volume will be raised at the other end. So volume is nothing but here. Volumes are same. So volume is nothing but area into length. A1 L1 that is being pushed at the smaller piston must be equal to amount of volume raised in the larger piston. Volume is nothing but area into length. So A1 L1 equal to A2 L2. Volume must be same here. Okay. So here A1 L1 equal to A2 L2. We need to find out what is the liquid raised in the larger piston L2. So L2 is equal to A1 by A2 into L1. So here A1 is nothing but pi D1 square by 4 divided by A2 is nothing but pi D2 square divided by 4. So here this 4 and 4 get cancelled, pi and pi get cancelled into whatever is there, L is there. So L2 is equal to D1 by D2 whole square, D1 by D2 whole square into L1. So L2 equal to D1 by D2. D1 is nothing but 1 centimeter. D2 is nothing but 3 centimeter whole square into L1 is nothing but how much? L1 is given as 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters. So here centimeter cancel. So L2 equal to 1 by 3 square is nothing but 1 by 9 into 6 centimeters. That is L2 equal to 6 by 9 is nothing but 2 by 3 centimeters, or L2 equal to 0.67 centimeters is the answer. Now I am going to discuss next example. .6.